with Eve Salazar, and we're doing tutorial number 5. I'm in a really wacky mood, you guys. Sorry, you're really in for it. And one thing I just realized that's kind of funny is, y'all know my skeleton, Bob. He's literally facing me. He's on this other side of the camera, and I realized when I'm looking at the camera so that it looks like I'm looking at you, I'm staring right at Bob's pelvis. So it's like eye full of skeleton pelvis, and imagine I'm talking to a person and I just realized it would be talking to someone's crotch. So I think I need to move Bob and maybe put a picture of someone's face or something up. So this whole teaching online thing, seriously, it's like you have to imagine someone else is there to talk to, because otherwise you just feel like you're in this echo chamber by yourself. So I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but I hope that amuses you. Okay, so this is tutorial 5, and I know it's taken me forever and a day to get you all of these tutorials, so thank you for your patience. This tutorial is about the importance of a varied movement diet. So when we think about nutrition in terms of food, and what our bodies need to stay healthy, we have to have a lot of variety in our diet to gather all the nutrients that we need, right? So we need to have a balance of protein, vegetables, fruits, and starches and carbohydrates. And I am not someone who buys into this whole no carbs, no fat, no this. What I do buy into is we need to limit our sugar and we need to limit our alcohol, which is an issue for me sometimes. I like to finish my day with a glass of Prosecco because it just feels luxurious. So more than you ever wanted to know about your Pilates teacher, starting here. So we need that nutrition, we need that variety in order for our body to gather everything that it needs, right? So we need eggs, we need strawberries, we need bread, we need fish, we need all that the variety out there is to have, unless we have an allergy to something like wheat or something that is a sincere allergy that makes you break out into hives or vomit or what's the third sign of an allergy? It's hives, vomiting, and I can't remember. So that's a sign of a true allergy. And sometimes we have a sensitivity to foods as well. So you may have a sensitivity. I have a sensitivity to lactose. So I tend to drink milk that is lactose free. However, I still drink milk. And I really believe that the more varied our movement diet is, the more equipped our bodies are to really function and handle all kinds of stimulation and input, and the less likely we are to be injured. Now, that being said, if you are an athletic person out in the world, at some point you will probably have an injury. You will probably, trip on something or bump something, right? So we're human beings out in a very active and full world. And we're also human beings out in a really stressful world right now. So I'm not going to go into all of the stressors that we are currently existing under and within, but they are many and varied, and I really do believe that movement is the medicine. So this tutorial is not just about me yapping about how important a lot of variety and movement is, it's also a challenge to you. So for the rest of the month of June, what I would like you to try to do is to get as much variety in your movement diet as you can. And I would like you to explore possible ways of moving that you haven't explored before. Also this, if you're just coming to Pilates once or twice a week, maybe try a class you haven't tried yet. And the reason I focus different themes for different classes is specifically for that variety. Now, there are some teachers that teach, when they teach mat work, they teach the classical mat repertoire in the same order for every single class. That's a thing in the Pilates industry, and I don't believe in that. because I think that what happens is, yes, you get good at those things, but you also kind of wear grooves into your body, and that can create repetitive patterns of strain. So if you're an athlete that does one kind of sport, facilitating your body and protecting your body from injury by doing another sport in the off season, that's why they emphasize that so much, right? Is try to get better at something else, because it's going to challenge your brain and your body to think differently about movement. And versatility in our body is really what we need so much. So we have Practice Lab coming up next Wednesday. And I am starting with Pilates bar work. Now that is not ballet, so don't freak out if you don't have a dance background. We are not doing ballet. We are doing movement in standing at the bar, or in your case, if you're doing this at home, because it is a virtual class, you'll use a hard back chair for balance. What bar work is, Fletcher bar work, is that we take Pilates into standing and we rise up and we work our postural principles in a vertical position, which is where we spend a big majority of our life. So it's hugely important to get off the mat and to get up on your feet. And so this will be a very different class than what we normally have on the menu, and that's intentional because I want you to have a different movement experience. So Monday class, I tend to emphasize your core and your butt, and we integrate full body movement. Wednesday is a little bit more yogic, and it's a little bit more flowing and soft and gentle and restorative. Saturday, I really mix it up and I try to change the theme. And recently, we've been doing a lot with wrists and a lot with the function of the hand with the wrist with the forearm with the elbow, and the elbow with the shoulder into the trunk of the body. So taking different classes and working different themes in your body. I do this a lot when I talk. I will try to talk less with my hands, and I'm staring right at Bob's crotch. So I hope, if nothing else, I've made you laugh if you watch this video. That's ultimately my goal, is to bring you an ounce of joy and levity into your day, as well as an inspiration to move. So take a class you haven't taken, get outside for a bike ride, take a walk on your lunch break, even if it's 10 or 20 minutes. That little bit of movement, that little bit of versatility is going to carry you into the next day, and it really truly is the medicine that we all need. We need to flush emotion out of the body. We need to flush stuckness out of our joints so that we can feel more fluid, feel calmer. I know that for me, movement it is my mental health practice. If I don't move 3 days in a row, my poor family, it's like I can't stand to be around myself, and I'm sure they can't stand to be around me, because I get so wound up emotionally, and I get so kind of like all of this energy and all this anxiety, it's like rising, and it feels like it's right here, right? It's like, have you ever been in water where you can barely touch with your toes and you're like right here, and you're like, if I slip and I don't hold my breath, it's game over. That's what it feels right now in this day and age, right? Like the water is right here. And so when we move, when we start to create that movement in the arms and the body, and we work our way through that feeling of the water is rising, we can bring it back down to a level at which we can conceptualize and move from a grounded place. So this is tutorial 5. It's a challenge to you to integrate more versatility into your movement practice. It's a challenge and an offering to you to try to move every single day, and make yourself and your movement practice number 1 on your list for your day. Number 1 on your list, because I guarantee that you'll get to the end of the day and you will feel like you have conquered the frickin' world when you have put your practice up here instead of down here after everyone and everyone else. Especially for us ladies, and there's a lot of men out there too who are very self-sacrificial. in how they interact with their families, how they interact with their jobs. You got to put it up here. It's like when my daughter was a baby. You got to put that oxygen mask on yourself first so that you have something to offer the people around you, and you're not having that resentment and that bitterness kind of build up along with everything else that's rising underneath us right now. So I hope that didn't feel like a lecture, because it wasn't meant that way. It was really meant as an offering and as an encouragement to you that I am here to support that versatility, and I really want that for you in your practice. So I hope I see you in Practice Lab next Wednesday. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. So, and we've got one more tutorial to go. I'll see you soon.